Okay, seatbelt on? They better be. Tonight, I'm gonna ask you to suspend your disbelief for just one evening, because tonight we're gonna get in it. I'm telling you folks, I'm tapped in. Today, I got really tapped in. I got some good info for y'all. Alright, what are we covering today? We have Stargates. And no, I don't mean some pesky little whatever. I mean get from here to fucking up there. Big time. Okay? Proper temple usage. What these ancient megalithic sites actually were capable of. Just one of many uses for these ancient temples. And what we truly are. That is a quantum biological radio. Wait, who am I? What? We are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. Alright, folks. I'm going to sound a little loopy today. Maybe I am. I had an interesting conversation with some planets today, actually. In fact, our parents. The sun, our father, and our mother, the earth. I have met her previously. But I had a very interesting conversation with them today. And it made so much sense. The Trinity. What are we? We are the creation, the tension between the Son, the Father, the Pater, the Pattern, okay? And the Mother, the Mater, the Mater in Latin, Matrix, okay? We are the marriage of those two. We are the tension point between those two. This is how all of Tesla's energy systems worked. This is a 0-point energy understanding. We are an alkaline battery designed to potentiate the torsional energetic twist between us on Earth and the Sun, our Father. I won't get too deep into that right now, but let me continue. We are a frequency. We are a pattern. We are a standing wave of information. Okay? So, a Messiah, right? Messiah means a vessel. A symbol, as in CYMBAL, is a vessel for sound. Okay? We are a symbol. Cymatic is a pattern of sound. Right? That is what we are. This is... Right, so we touched on the Itzhak Bentov stalking the wild pendulum model. The sun is a loom. It looms, it weaves its light throughout space into matter, into the mother. And we, the rays of light, traveling from it, our soul, from sun to earth, is what animates us. So soul, S-O-L in Latin, is sun. Soul, S-O-U-L in Latin, is anima. So the soul, the sun, the light's rays is what animates us. You see? We are a product of the mother, earth, and the father, the sun. Okay? We are all a Messiah. We are a vessel. This is why the ancient Egyptians got buried in ships or an urn. It is a vessel. We are a vessel, a quantum biological radio for consciousness to inhabit and experience. You know, the hero, the sun god incarnate on earth. That is why the archetypal hero's journey is prevalent throughout all art. Because it is detailing the hero, the sun god incarnate's journey towards realizing who he truly is, who she truly is. Okay? Now, not sure how many of you will be familiar with Rupert Sheldrake's work of morphic resonance theory, but understand what we actually are, how we operate. We are a alkaline battery-powered quantum biological radio. We are a transceiver. We receive and we transpond. We send signals, right? Okay? So if you take the example of a tuning fork, okay? If you have a tuning fork and you bing, and it's a brrr, on its resonant frequency. If you have another identical tuning fork in a similar vicinity to it, it will start vibrating at its resonant frequency, right? So what this means is when someone, you, me, for example, are operating on a resonant frequency when we're resonant with the Earth, the Schumann resonance is 7.83 hertz. When you are operating on 7.83 hertz, 7.83 hertz brainwave cycle, you are resonant with the Earth. What this does is it sends stronger vibrations out around you, and it actually coheres your reality around you, including the other conscious entities within your space. It coheres them. You become coherent. You get drawn to it. It pulls you in. You know, the most coherent, resonant, the most resonant signal, the most resonance frequency is what will attract the others. You know, anything out of tune will automatically tune to it. This is really important to remember and keep note of, okay? Now understand, I mentioned the sun is a loom. It weaves its light throughout the cosmos. Other celestial bodies, who also have their own unique vibration frequency, they create interference patterns. So this is what distorts the light on its way. You can see on the left here, these are the 7 planets' orbits around the sun, or around the Earth. They're patterns that interfere with our light and affect us, okay? This is why cymatics, the patterns of sound, are ubiquitous throughout ancient cultures. They are very powerful. Frequencies carry information, knowledge, healing, distortion. They carry information first and foremost, okay? Just some of the cymatics seen throughout this beautiful, some of these ancient cultures and see some of these temple sites. I'll get onto them in a sec. So, what were these temple sites for? This is so brilliant. I am so excited about learning this, okay? So, these ancient temple sites, they were basically a 3D cymatic. They are a 3D sound wave. A lot of them are, at least the South Asian Buddhist and Hindu ones. But the idea of these temple sites is they would be tuned to a specific frequency. Each frequency may be designated a specific deity or an archetypal consciousness at which you would then resonate with and download that resonant conscious deity's information. Okay? This is important. I mean, in different temples, you might have a different frequency for each room. But these sites were designed for you as a tuning fork to resonate with that specific tune so you could tune in your radio to that line of information. It is so genius, right? And further still, so many of the Indian sites had Ayurvedic, these alchemical lingams, the yoni and the loni in the phallus, which would be made of an alchemical combination, often a mercurials, like cinnabar, mercury sulfur oxide, but a specifically purposed alchemical vessel in which the water of the sacred well site, all ancient sites, all these temple sites have have sacred wells, right? You'd pour this water over it, which, while extracting the goodness of the actual metallic composition of the alchemical compounds or the creation that's been made, its vibration at the resonant frequency of the temple would actually embed this information into the water, into the crystalline structure of the water itself. So by drinking it, you then become it. It helps you resonate because, I mean, we are 70% water, as is Earth. Get it, right? Fractalize up. you could actually tune in. It would help you tune in to this resonant frequency by drinking the water with that pattern embedded, crystallized in that water. It is so cool. Now, further still, I mean, during a samadhi state, a satori or an outer body ecstatic state, this frequency or the deity of the temple may actually manifest in an apparition form. You know, when you actually transcend and go out of body, you actually might receive this divine wisdom through an apparition. But even without going that far, just by drinking this water and tuning yourself into this frequency, you become a channel for this information. So beautiful and so clever and so interesting, right? And I mean, it doesn't just have to be information. They can be healing frequencies. They can be anything. It's just super interesting, right? Now this is where it gets spooky. This is going to get so fun. Okay, so in the second episode of this little series I've been doing, the esoteric anatomical aspect of scripture, right? I was talking about how we ourselves have a caduceus, our sushumna, which is a sushumna, our spinal cord, which has our energetic center with our chakras, acts as like the wand, and the Ida and the Pingala nerves act as the bifilar coil wrapping around it, and it creates this toroidal field. And with this heart-mind coherence, you are able to access the 0 point in your heart chakra and create a scalar wave and shoot out of your body, like literally. You know, this is what enlightenment is. That is the experience of enlightenment with all the DMT and the endoctrines of the pineal gland and so on and so forth. But how cool, and I was also touching on how that is the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant has been reverse engineered from what exists within us. The milk and the honey within us would be equivalent to the gold and the acacia wood makeup of the Ark of the Covenant, right? Think of how cool this is. So the earth itself acts as the heartbeat. You know, our heart sends an electromagnetic pulse every whatever. So does the earth. Now, the Great Pyramid was specifically placed on the strongest energetic node across the earth of the earth's own heartbeat, the Schumann resonance, right? It was then designed through acoustic resonance. It would amplify these sound waves into a standing wave up into the king's chamber. Now, again, this is my theory, but just hear me out here. The Templars, specifically Tim Hogan speaks about this a lot. The Templars were said, the Knights of Templars that is, were said to have put Arks of the Covenant in these sarcophagi aspects of the chambers in these pyramidal sites. I found that interesting, right? So I've got a little, and forgive my shitty drawing here. So you can kind of see underneath the pyramid, you have an aquifer, all right? So this keeps motion in which they had coils going down to extract this human resonance, this heartbeat energy of the earth. The earth is a negative. It's a negative charge. It's magnetic, right? So the idea is to create tension between it and the sun, okay? So the constant motion with coils going through the aquifer then allows the granite composition of the interior to stay in mechanical tension and release its piezoelectric charge, okay? Now this culminates all through acoustic resonance up into the king's chamber as a standing wave. It used to be encased in limestone, acting as a dielectric encasement. So it would enclose and insulate the power, the energy, and with the gold cap, the capstone on the top of the pyramid, this would be what's referred to as the 10th door, or the Brahmanrana, or the anterior fontanelle, the hole in your brain, your 10th door, in which the soul escapes when you have this enlightenment out-of-body experience and you shoot out of your skull. So they've reverse engineered this. So the pyramid is the skull. The limestone casing is the skull, the dielectric casing. The granite interior, right, is it's like the grey matter, the cerebral spinal fluid that is conductive, Okay? Then in the King's Chamber, this would be in your third ventricle, you then place the Ark of the Covenant, which is again fractal geometrically, it's the same again. It's gold, so conductive, then dielectric acacia wood, and then gold again, filled with monoatomic gold, which is an alchemized form, a different state of matter of gold, which is a superconductor and holds huge quantities of static charge. It acts as a capacitor in this respect, as a technology in this space in the pyramid. Now, this is where it gets really crazy. I was listening to, I'm not sure how many of you may have listened to Art Bell's Midnight in the Desert radio show, and know the episode around Madman Markham, who was a time traveler. He said he called in and he had built a time warp device and skipped 2 years and 800 miles, apparently, in the late 90s. And he explained his story by, first of all, wanting to create a Jacob's ladder, which is just an arc, an electromagnetic arc, right? And he saw this kind of shimmery effect once he was able to create this arc of high energy physics. He saw this shimmering kind of aspect in front of it and chucked a bolt into it, and it disappeared. And then, like half a second later, it appeared and dropped out. And he's like, oh, what the fuck? So sure enough, he went and I'm pretty sure he robbed a power station or something to go get these big alternators and adapters and stuff to generate heaps of power and blacked out the town so he could create a bigger Jacob's ladder and a bigger portal, ripping a hole into space-time. So this idea of the arc, the Jacob's ladder, creating a rip into space-time as a portal. Now, in the King's Chamber, you place the Ark of the Covenant in this hugely free generating energy system that the pyramid already is, which is a fractally, geometrically reverse engineered cranium, literally, to the heart, the earth being the heart, to create this heart-mind coherence. This is crazy. And it was perfectly aligned to the Orion star system. Okay, so with such huge quantities, masses of electricity, of energy being developed, this Ark of the Covenant, it's filled with this monatomic substance which stores huge amounts of energy. It would have these two angels sitting on top of the Ark to create an arc. That in of itself, with such high energy, would create this portal, and with the gold capstone of the pyramid being directly pointed to Orion, where I believe our creators came from, whoever hybridized us as Homo sapiens came from, could jump them straight back there. For any of you who have seen Agent Bureau, or whatever that film is, or know, are well accustomed to time travel jump room lore, this would be the ultimate jump room. It would, instead of a transverse wave, because the pyramid has limestone encasing, dielectric limestone casing, the energy isn't leaking out into transverse toroidal waves. You get a scalar wave. You get a longitudinal wave straight up, directly to Orion. And the interesting thing is, the pyramids in China and the pyramids in Teotihuacan also have perfect alignment to Orion. And those three pyramidal sites also form a perfect alignment of Orion's belt on a more macro scale itself, which is interesting. But I just wanted to share that with you. How fucking cool is that? Right? So that's how they built that as a Stargate. That is how the technology works. They reverse engineered what's inside us. We're the universe inverse. That was fun. Woo-moo. Woo-way.